If you're over 35 and you train regularly and your body still isn't changing, your workout plan may not be the problem. And I learned that the hard way when I hit 207 pounds back a couple of years ago, just before COVID. And this backyard photo with my son told me a story. And it was that my gym sessions couldn't hide it. You see, I was trying, but I really wasn't taking care of myself, if I'm honest. Because what I did outside the gym was wiping out all the work I put in. And I'm going to show you the 3 changes that helped me reach 185 pounds. And I did it without changing my workouts or starting a crazy crash diet. And when I look back at that picture, it still burns a little bit of a hole in my memory. Because a few years ago, I used to play competitive soccer. It's a few years ago. And I used to be lean, like typical soccer player. But that pic, my face looked puffy and none of my clothes looked or fit the way that I wanted. And the photos wasn't my only warning, because around that same time, I went to my doctor and she told me my cholesterol was a bit high. And she said I should monitor it. I should consider medication, lose some weight. Now, I was around 207 pounds, which isn't massive. She suggested getting closer to 170. And my first thought was that this lady has lost her mind. And I was thinking, there is no way I'm getting to 170. I love food too much and I drink way too much beer. But the number wasn't the real wake up call. The wake up call was realizing I couldn't honestly say that I was taking care of myself. Because I went to the gym, that doesn't mean you're taking care of yourself. Because I had made this deal with myself. Like, if I worked out hard enough, I could eat whatever I wanted. I could sit down with the guys and crush beers. And that may have felt possible when I was a teenager playing soccer every day, but I wasn't. And breakfast could be like an English muffin. I would have 2 bowls of cereal. I'd have a bagel on top of that, a glass of orange juice and some fruit. Basically, I was eating like a continental buffet before I even left the door, before I had even done anything. And lunch might be like typical junk food, right? And dinner had no plan, and snacks would just appear in my lap, sitting in front of the TV. And a chocolate bar a day was not unusual back then. But because I told myself I worked out, I kept telling myself I was doing enough. And the gym had become my evidence that everything else must be fine. But it clearly wasn't. So my first change wasn't a harder workout. It was being honest about the food situation. So I downloaded a free calorie tracking app. I'll put a link below. And for about 2 weeks, I ate normally and I just tracked everything because I needed a baseline. I needed to figure this out. And the thing is, you and I probably don't have a motivation problem. We have an information problem, because we remember the chicken and the salad and like drink lots of water, but we forget the snacks. We forget the pop or soda or the second helping of pasta and that delicious pastry thing that I would stand over the sink and eat. And for the first week, I didn't judge the numbers, or I tried not to, but I simply made like what was invisible visible on the app. And that gave me something that motivation couldn't really do, right? It was a place to start, but tracking wasn't the solution. It just showed me like where I had to look inside. And once I saw my baseline, I didn't have to rebuild my entire life on Monday morning. I just chose one obvious source of excess. And for me, that was bread, because I would have bread everywhere, right? Bread for breakfast, bread for lunch. And I reduced it. And I didn't miss it as much as I expected, right? But what I didn't expect is my weight dropped quickly at first. I felt less bloated. I felt lighter. My stomach felt better. And that doesn't mean that bread is necessarily bad. And it doesn't mean everyone should just copy me. It means you need to find your version of like whatever excess is for you. Like maybe it's beer, maybe it's the drive-through at Taco Bell, maybe it's the evening bowl of ice cream that like you don't pretend to count how many scoops. because you ate it standing up, right? You don't have to fix it all at once. You want to find one thing you can actually pull from your diet and make the change small enough so you can repeat it. And the next change wasn't exciting. And that's exactly why it worked. And so what I did on Sundays, I planned and I prepared my food, and it became this thing, and it became consistent. Breakfast became consistent. Lunch became consistent. I drank more water. I started paying attention to protein and whole nutritious foods. And I know meal preparation sounds boring as shit, but good, because boring meat removes decisions. Boring removes decisions. And when lunch is ready, you don't need that motivational speech at 12:30 to say, eat your salad or eat whatever, right? You just open the container and you eat whatever's in there, right? Hopefully it's good. And over the following months, I kept training the same way. But now the gym wasn't fighting my diet or the chaos in the kitchen that I would deal with. And eventually I got down to about 185 pounds. I looked a lot leaner. I felt lighter. My clothes fit better. I had more definition, and I just felt like I had more energy and more life. But the best part wasn't just the scale. I felt finally more in control. And I know it's a small thing, but my choices were finally matching the man that I wanted to be. And I didn't reach the exact number my doctor mentioned. Like, I wasn't getting to 170, and that's not my goal, but that's okay, because this wasn't about becoming perfect. It was just about proving that change was possible, that I could do it, that because I had this thing stuck in my mind that I couldn't drop weight. And this is my personal experience, and I'm not a medical doctor, obviously, and your needs may be different. So work with your doctor when appropriate. But the reason I'm telling you this is because you might think, oh, I need another advanced workout, or I need this gym equipment, or I need this membership. And you don't, right? You just need to stop using workouts as proof that everything else is fine. Like, if you train, but your body isn't changing, don't immediately add more exercises, right? I want you to look at that part of your day that you aren't measuring, right? So for the next 7 days, like, don't go out and start a crash diet. That's not what I'm saying. Just track what you normally eat. Like, don't clean it up just because you're recording it and you're trying to make it look good. Like, don't judge yourself here. Just see it clearly for what you're doing, because you've been doing this for a while. And at the end of the week, find one obvious source of excess, right? Then choose that one lever that you can realistically pull, and then prepare one meal ahead of time that you normally gets away from you. Again, if that's breakfast or lunch or whatever it is, right? That's the reset, right? You want to make those invisible things visible, right? Change one obvious thing. Don't try to do too many things at once, right? Remove that one daily decision so you don't have to think about it, right? And you don't need to solve your entire life this week, but you just need an honest place to start. And that is your baseline. I hope this hit for you. And remember, keep showing up for yourself and show yourself what's possible.